it's my pleasure to be on the Polaris team.
We're back. I sold the foil board and I got this guy for $600, the Sl650 Polaris Wave Runner. It's a 1995. I called the DNR and made sure that this thing would be good to go to register, do all the legalities because it had no title. So just so you know, if you're ever buying a used watercraft, you do not need the title, you just need a bill of sale. When I picked this thing up in Belvedere, we were able to fire it up. We had to put gas straight into the carb, so that's one of the first issues we're gonna work on. Later, I'm gonna introduce you guys to my friend Mike. He has a couple wave runners himself and he works on projects like this all the time. So he should be super helpful in this restore, especially with the carburetor rebuild. And he's actually gonna help me source some parts in Janesville that we already know we need. At the end of the video, I'll make sure to put all the costs and all the labor that we put into it. There's still some things I don't know what I'm gonna do with. But other than that, I want to keep it pretty short and I want to give you guys a walk around and just give you some general thoughts of the before and after. I think overall this should be a really fun rebuild and restore. So yeah, let's get to it.
So here she is. First thing off the bat that I notice is the hole number is faded. We'll get some new decals for that guy. That's purely cosmetic. Look how long this trailer is. It takes up my entire garage, so we're gonna have to work on that. I'm either gonna cut it down and weld it together or just cut it and unbolt most of these guys here. It needs new wiring for these brake lights. Everything's pretty much shot, including the plastic housing for these brake lights. Looks like the beds are okay. This is an old shore station trailer. Who knows how far I'm gonna get into those. There's some rivets missing here in the front for this bumper. The whole of this thing, there's no major holes, but there's just a lot of scuffing that's gonna need to get buffed out, especially right here. I'll probably replace the seat cushion. They actually make covers, so you don't need to redo this whole thing. This emergency cutoff switch right now is being held on by a zip tie. So this EVA foam padding looks like it's starting to come off in a few spots. It's not horrible, but there's just, you could tell, some oil stains on here, so we'll probably rip all that off too. I haven't decided yet if I'm gonna repaint the hole or if I'm gonna vinyl wrap it, but that's definitely an option. I love this this decal that's on the front. This guy left on, get on, sit down, shut up, and hang on. Here's kind of a look at the underside of the hole. You could tell this thing has been beat to crap, but we're gonna paint that and buff it out as much as we can. All right guys, here's the inside. I took the carburetor cover off. The wiring doesn't look horrible. Everything looks pretty clean in here and not as dirty as I thought. There's a new battery we use. I don't know why it's just sitting there, not really secured, so I'm gonna have to figure that out. Overall, I think Mike will have more to say about the physical components of the engine and the carb. He just texted me and they do have the carburetor rebuild kit in Janesville, so we're gonna head there right now. But let me show you the other side of the Wave Runner before I leave. Maybe redo the decals. Steering wheel, pretty beat up, but again, that's all aesthetic. We'll see if I could maybe find a replacement. Clearly needs some work, but I just wanted to give you guys a sense of kind of what we're getting into. I also noticed there's some screws that are missing on top of this choke and starting switch. But let's head to Janesville. I'll bring my camera along and we're gonna grab these parts. All right, see you then. All right guys, update, it's still pouring rain. This is where Daltrey sent me. And this place looks like it is a very boutique jet ski place, to say the least. That place was sick. You guys were super helpful. We're 220 in the hole, heading home. And I'll see you guys back there. Let's do it. She's just telling me how you picked up a men's game last night. What do you think, Mike? You think it looks worse than what you thought it was gonna be, or just about?
It's normal. It's a 95. It's pretty normal. You don't find too many that are like unreal condition.
Tap number 2 to fire this thing up.
You suck!
This is supposed to go right about here. And there's not enough room there. If I was you, I would work on that first.
Okay. Take these off. Oh, here, I can do that.
Got the trailer off on the front. Now we just need to cut this baby. Look at these steaks, boys. Oh my God. So the front trailer has been cut and all the bolts held up, and Mike is working on these fuel lines. It's day 2 of the jet ski rebuild, and we are going to work on the carburetor rebuild now that we got the trailer all wired, and we'll get started. Carb is out.
Somebody's been in here before.
All the kiddos are playing. There's Tate. There's Mike cleaning that carb. And Mike just put on a new fuel pump because that one was leaking. Wrapping up day 2. Mike is still working on the carburetor, but I managed to get most of the decals off of the sidewall and the rub rail. We got 2 brand new tires and wheels for the trailer and a bolt for the rubber stopper. So jet ski's back in my garage right now. I think tomorrow morning I'll power wash it and try and get all that grime off of the back and get more of the stickers that are remaining on the side off so we can get it prepped and ready for paint. But let's cross our fingers because the carburetor is taking a little longer than I thought. And when I say I mean Mike. So thank you, Mike, because he has been the mechanic in all this. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. What do you think of the sand job I did? Sanded.
Did you wet sand it or something?
I used 600 grit and 120 grit.
Better than it did.
Just so the paint sticks. Yeah, it looks a lot better, right?
Oh yeah.
Piecing the bracket back together. Day 4 on the Polaris Restore. And yes, you guessed it, back at Menards. I just picked up the paint for the ski, and the carb should be done tonight. Me and Mike had to ref a couple hockey games today. All we need to now make sure is that the thing runs. But yeah, I'll keep you guys posted. Back at Menards. But we're at kind of a stopping point right now because last night Mike was able to put the carburetor back together, but when he did, he noticed that the leads were completely shot, and I'll show you the video of that there.
So this is a good one. All right, the reeds are tight. They're not bent off. This is broken and it's bent upwards. There's those 3 cracks there.
No! God, please, no!
And then this is just bent. I shouldn't be able to do that.
Got some things for the trailer, new bunk carpet, some more paint supplies for both the ski and the trailer, some de-ruster, a brush, etc., etc. Mike managed to find our parts, of course, in Chicago. He has a buddy that works down here and sells jet ski parts. So we're on the south side of the city today. Being safe, staying vigilant. We're out here. We're gonna grab these parts for Mike, head back to Plainfield, see what we can do. Little update before I got out of town for a week. Got all the parts we needed in Chicago. Last night after my dad's birthday, I took some Zep and got all the rust off of the trailer and I kind of scrubbed it off, and I'll show you that time lapse here. But yeah, let me get to the trailer and I'll show you some video. All right. All right guys, trailer's painted, looks really good. We did 2 coats of the smoke gray, all new 2x4s with the navy blue bunks, the new wheels that I replaced, got new taillights and wiring, and I put the license plate on even though we don't have one yet. I'm actually really stoked how this turned out. This thing looked like absolute garbage when we got it. And we also modified that front, so it's about 5 or 6 feet shorter on the tongue. Tell me what you guys think. Not bad for 2 coats of Rust-Oleum. Probably took me only 4 or 5 hours worth of work of the trailer. Thanks for watching, guys.
Mr. Hammond, I think we're back in business.
So I'm back from Florida and Texas, guys. I'm feeling a little bit overwhelmed with the amount of things that still need to be done on this, but we're getting there, we're close. Mike and I went to the boat today. I am absolutely cooked from the last 3 days of being in the sun. Mike worked on it for day 5. Got it running while we were gone after he rebuilt the carb. Did it fire right up when you tried it?
It was turning over. I just had to get, it just takes a second to get the gas through the lines.
You sealed the pistons with former gasket sealant. And we moved these fuel hoses today too, so there was no pinching point on these fuel lines now down here. And now we're gonna put the water rail back on top of the pistons so I can paint tomorrow. Mike is exhausted, I'm exhausted. We're getting this thing bolted up and we're calling it a day because I need to unpack and I am tired. So we'll see you guys tomorrow. Good night. Good morning, guys. We just started day 7 with the paint. I want to thank Sean and Mr. Kelly for coming out and helping me get it off the trailer. I ran into a little bit of an issue. So we tipped it upside down so I could sand and spray paint the bottom of the hull. I could hear actually a little bit of dripping gasoline, so I didn't want to deal with that. So we flipped it back down. We're actually going to do the top coat first. And then hopefully Mike can come over later on and check it out and see what the issue is. It was just a very small drip, but I really don't want to have any leaking fluids in the bottom of the hull. Yep, and we're back. Had to get some bolts, some nuts, some epoxy. For the bottom of the hull, we noticed there was a pretty good ding, so they actually have some marine epoxy here. And then I got an extra coat of spray paint as well. All right, guys, another update. Mike just came over. We found the leak to the fuel, and we were able to tip this thing over now without it dripping gas. So I got the first coat of paint on. The marine weld comes on kind of chunky. Doesn't look super great there, but we could sand that and repaint. But right now we got the base coat and we're getting there. Just got the cushion removed. There was hundreds of staples you had to manually get off. I haven't decided yet when the cover comes in if I'm gonna redo it myself or take it to a vinyl store. It's kind of hard, I've heard, to get the vinyl really taut on this thing, but real quick, take a look at how old and worn this cushion is. You could actually see that there was some moisture here still in this cushion, but hopefully this thing is salvageable. What a day, guys. I woke up feeling super overwhelmed and just things were adding up and more things that we needed to work on. But man, we made some awesome progress today. The only hiccup I really had was to redo the epoxy when we went to move the ski over. It didn't dry in time and the whole thing came off. So I sanded it a little bit more, filled the epoxy. I just finished the second coat of the purple rub rail and it's 1:15 in the morning. So I'm gonna go to bed. We just got back from hockey and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Day 8, and man, just a little bit of work today, but the littlest things are sometimes the most rewarding. Look at how good this thing looks. Man, am I psyching right now. The flooring turned out awesome. This honeycomb pattern really adds a nice touch. I finished putting back on this grab rail, all the purple paint, really brought this thing back to life. I had to go back around and touch up a couple areas where this trim separates from the guardrail and the hull of the boat. I'm still waiting on Illinois to approve my hull registration ID, so I'm not gonna put those stickers on yet. Maybe I'll give you guys a little sneak peek though of what they're gonna look like. And we're also still waiting on the decals from Polaris. So just a quick update today. Didn't work much on it. This was actually a really fun day because it's all cosmetic. I'm gonna take this thing back to Mike's. He's got a couple things he needs to do in the engine bay. There's a frayed wire, and then we're gonna get started on replacing this guy to put a fuel gauge in, because right now we don't have a fuel gauge. But I just wanted to give you about a halfway update here. Thanks for following along. That was the trick. That's the end of day 8. See you later. So I think we'll officially call this day 10 of the rebuild. So I just picked up the ski from Mike's house. Because we got all these parts in the mail, including the decals. Mike worked super late and he pulled out the entire fuel tank. The fuel tank was absolutely filthy. So we pulled that out because we're almost to the last install of the ski and we're gonna put that fuel gauge in. Besides cleaning out the fuel tank and siphoning out the old fuel, we had a frayed water temp wire and harness that was pretty much down to the bare bones. Mike and I ordered that part and he picked it up from Bob, our guy that's been sourcing some of these parts. Thank you, Bob. We'll put his name here if you ever need jet ski parts. I'm also gonna go to the vinyl store today and have them install this seat cushion. So let's get to it today and I'll show you the time lapse and we'll get started. Okay guys, I just finished doing the second clear coat just to seal it from the UV rays. My buddy Brian asked me why I didn't do that and I just quite frankly didn't have time. Anyways, got all the decals in. I'm lining them up. There's so many. I think I ordered duplicates of at least one, so I need to go get the part diagram and see which is which. But I think that's next today, guys. We also dropped off the seat cushion and the vinyl to Harry's Auto Upholstery. He had some really cool projects going on. There were some awesome cars in the garage. He was super helpful. He's actually gonna turn this thing around for us in a day, so I'm really excited to pick that up tomorrow.
When you fit that down and you look at this, you got like 1/4 inch there and this here. I think we're probably gonna wind up having it right at the edge, like kind of like that. Harry's Auto Upholstery on YouTube, so go follow us, like and subscribe. Check it out. We do a lot of upholstery stuff, so.
Sweet.
Get it out there.
That's the end of day 10. Jeep is back in the garage. Ski is back at Mike's. We had some issues today with the vinyl decals. They weren't sticking to our spray paint. So what we did is we went to Ace Hardware. I got some 3M adhesive. We put it on the back of the vinyl stickers and that seems to be holding for now. I'm gonna let it sit and dry overnight and we'll get back to you in a couple days because it's the weekend, so see you tomorrow. Damn, it looks so good. Crushed it. Thanks, bro. Amazing. Yeah. Woo! Started day 11. We just made the circle cut in the fuel tank, cleaning it out. Now we're gonna put that fuel gauge in, see if it fits. We got some self-tapping stainless screws that we're gonna use. Good. Plastic housing is modified for the choke. We tested the seal on this fuel tank and it's leaking a little bit, so we're gonna have to get some gasoline resistant sealing for this cover. Those fuel lines go to the choke and then those go to the gas tank.
Red or blue?
Red, lads! Cut the red!
Red, purple, blue, black.
So that's the new LR module going in. Almost there. Finishing some wiring. All the decals are on, and then we're waiting on the seal to dry and put this guy back in. Mike found us in much better condition. Another flame arrestor. I just needed to epoxy it in one spot.
So basically, if it backfires, you know how when things backfire, flame comes out? That's what this does, so it doesn't ignite the whole engine compartment with gas fumes. What we need to do is get a bolt that goes in here almost all the way, but stops, because right, the bolt doesn't go through here. So I'm thinking about an inch in size will be just fine.
Today we're at Ace because it's a little bit closer to Mike's house, but man, I kind of feel like I'm cheating on Menards. But need to get some bolts for this flame arrestor and get to work.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
All those personal watercrafts,
yeah,
are gonna be metric.
Well, I appreciate the help. Mike finished the primer cable. Good work, Mike. I ripped the one sticker off because it was the wrong color and it wasn't sticking, so I actually did a custom order for 2 new stickers to be a little bit more adhesive. We got another sticker on the back here. Some of you might like it, some of you might not. I also didn't mention to you guys that it's 100 degrees out today. Brutal. Last part of the day, guys. Fuel pump's back on, just zip tying the lines. The majority of the work is done. We are possibly talking about if we can get everything bolted back up tomorrow, tuning the carb and putting it in the water. Not a full test run, but making sure everything is good. We need a couple more bolts because we can't find the one that's somewhere down here. There's some weather stripping that we need a bigger fitting so we can get that wire from the fuel gauge that we ran today. So we're gonna pick that up from Bob. There you go, guys. That's how we'll end our night. Little lightning storm, couple bolts. We stopped at Menards, always very reliable. Hey guys, welcome back. So Mike's at work, he's on his way home. He's got a surprise for you, but in the meantime, I'm gonna tell you what I did while he was gone. So we had to cut this throttle grip. So we made some room so this thing can fully extend. Just got that done. Got the flame arrestor cover in. Made 2 trips to Ace and I didn't realize that the bolts were sitting right on the table over there and I couldn't find them because I probably took the last 6 at the store. Also taped this wire just so we don't run into that same issue we had before with it getting frayed. Mike's gonna be proud of me. I also installed this fuel line that was getting pinched and we put this 1/4 to 1/4 inch barb fitting in here to eliminate that pinching. We're close, guys. We'll see where we get today. And with that said, I will show you what Mike is bringing home. What do you think it would be? Dude, it looks...
New jet ski.
It looks clean, dude. Look at those graphics. How does the inside look?
It'll clean out.
Yeah, it's not bad. Wow, good for you. Jet ski number what? Is this 3 or 4?
Johnny's number 2.
Just a grommet with 3 set of holes. That's what we needed. Checking final wiring. Fuel gauge assembly is back.
We'll put fuel in it, we'll turn it over, see what happens, and then we'll go from there.
Copy. Look at that sunset, boys. Woo! Found this little launch in Aurora. Moment of the truth. Smoky. So, quick update, fuel gauge works. Mike did well on the wiring. He's very excited about that. Well, we know it runs. We're just trying to get it, get the fuel through the lines?
Yeah.
Yes! Yes!
Hit the throttle a bit. Jet skiing 101, how to retrailer.
We did it, boys. Mike did it. Thank you, Mike.
Took us a little bit to get the fuel running through the lines. The only thing that we found out today is that the primer is not working. So we need to get that figured out because you don't want to do a cold start in the garage if the primer's not working. And we also don't want to have to take that flame arrestor cover off every time you want to start the ski. And the next thing that we're going to show you is not going to be a build video. It's going to be a ski video. So thanks so much for following us along. And we're going to take this thing out on Sunday. So I'll see you then.
This jet ski ain't a goddamn toy!
Yes, it is.
Money doesn't buy happiness. Do you live in America? Because it buys a wave runner. You ever seen a sad person on a wave runner? Seriously, have you?
So guys, that is a wrap on the restore. I'm hanging out with Tate on the dock. Mike is coming in. The trim switch worked, so we are officially done with this jet ski. It ran great. I think I topped out at 40. Give Liney Daltz a follow. Without this guy, this day would not be possible. So thanks again, Mike. Like I promised, I'll include all the costs and expenses of this video, including labor, but thanks again for following along. And if you like this video, hit that subscribe and like button, and I'll see you guys on our next adventure. Phew!
Have you been drinking?
No.
You had a couple drinks earlier?
No.
How many did you have?
No.
Did you have any?
No.
How many?
Nothing.
What did you drink at dinner?
Nothing.
What did you drink at dinner? Are you passing out?